Hey y'all, welcome back to Preparedness Truth. Welcome to today's video. So we're going to be talking about quite a few things here. So get you a seat, sit down, and let's talk. So if you're new to this channel, please click that subscribe button down below. And be sure to tap the notification bell beside it so that you're notified when I upload new videos. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Definitely don't forget to share it. The more people we wake up, the less chaos there will be later when all of this goes down. So we're going to be talking about the fact that there is a lot more emptier shelves coming up and a lot more food shortages happening. And one of those reasons is because all those warehouses that were backed up beforehand that finally got turned loose when all this supply chain issue stuff started happening has now been put on the shelves, and people are buying and purchasing, even though prices are higher, stuff that they can stock up and prepare for what is coming. So here are some things that you need to be doing to get prepared and to be ahead of this. So one thing, we talk about all this stuff in many different videos on many different channels. There's no telling how many times people has heard it, but this could be somebody's very first time of watching a prepping video, and if it is, I hope that you find this information useful, and I also hope that you start preparing and get ready for the things that's coming, because it's getting harder to do with the prices higher and less stuff on the shelf. So number one, food and water. We can't say this enough. Food and water. You have to have water more than even food, because you can go days without food. You cannot go days without water, especially if it was to be in the middle of the summer when a crisis was to happen. So food and water is one of your main items during prepping that you definitely need to have stocked up and prepared and ready, so that you are not one of those people that is out doing the panic buying with all of the chaos that's going on. That is one of the main things that we prep for, is because we want to stay out of that when all of this happens. We want to be able to stay at home, protect what we have, and avoid all of this disaster that is coming. So food and water, whether it be stocking up bottled water, whether it be stocking up long-term food, whether it be preserving your own food, such as canning, freeze drying, dehydrating, whatever it is that you are doing, definitely need to do that. You need to have a source of supplies to filter out your water in case you was to run out of water for whatever the reason is. You need a good filtration system, whether it be a traveling filtration system like a Sawyer water filter, or whether it be like a Berkey that's on your counter right there available for you. But you definitely need to have that. Another thing is food preserving items. So with all that's coming up next year, we don't know how it's going to turn out. We know that it possibly will not be good, and that the food and stuff won't be there. And if it is, it may be enormously high to the point that you can't even purchase it. So now is the time to stock up on garden seeds, all of your growing supplies, but not only that, food preservation such as canning lids, canning jars, the rings, vacuum seal bags if you're vacuum sealing stuff, dehydrator items, anything like that that you have to preserve food. And you can have tons and tons of jars, but you cannot reuse the seals. So you need to have lots of seals. You need to have tons of those stored up so that once you open a container, you can always put something else back in that glass jar, but you have to have a way to seal that up when you can. So definitely food preserving items is a big thing that people need to have stocked up. Your garden seeds and your garden supplies to get a garden growing, because if worse comes to worse, if you can grow your food and preserve it, if it's not in the stores, then that will be an awesome thing for survival. Going into this winter, we know we're going to have a lot of possible blackouts and shortages on the natural gas supplies and things like that going on. All the stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine with the war, the nuclear possibility, all that kind of stuff, they are more or less telling us that disaster is looming. So you definitely need to have a heat source and a backup heat source. So if you're on electric, if you're on gas, have an extra source that does not require someone to come out and fill a tank, or you to have to go somewhere such as propane to fill a tank. And that if the power grid goes down, you have another way to do it, because there's no guarantee that any of those sources right there will work. So have enough of your propane and stuff like that stocked up, but there's a limit to how much of it you can stock up. So still, you need to have something such as a wood burning heater, something like that, even if it's a small one that you had to do one room with and you can't do your entire house, but some form of wood heat is a great backup source because if nothing else, you can go to the woods with an axe if you had to. Would not be easy, but they have done it in old days, and it can be done. So it is something that you definitely need to think about and have on your list. Medications, we talk about the medications many times, about stocking up on medications if at all possible, but I know a lot of prescription medications you can't stock up on it because you can't get the prescriptions, you can only get a certain amount. But over-the-counter medications, there is a big supply shortage around our areas on that, such as the Dollar Trees does not carry, I would say, over 60% of what they used to carry in the store. So the cheap access to that medication is not there. You have to go somewhere else like CVS or Walmart, and you have to pay more if you find it in stock. And a lot of people are stocking up on this, so it's not there and it is not available as much as it was. So definitely think about your cold and flu medications, your pain medication, your first aid, anything like that, because we know right now we've got a lot of stuff that they're saying is going around this winter and hitting hard. We know people that's already come down with the flu. You know, a big thing of that running through, you know, the flu's back this year, believe it or not. Don't know what happened to it last year, but it's back this year. But that's already been a big thing that is going through, and people are needing medication for that. And if you can't get to a doctor, or you don't want to get to a doctor for whatever the reason may be, you need to be able to treat yourself at home. So that is a big thing, to have medications stocked up, whether it's prescription medications or just over-the-counter, get you by medications to help you survive that. Learn as much natural stuff as you can to help yourself. That's a good alternative also. So these are just little things to keep on your list, to keep working with, to keep going, to make sure that you can protect yourself and get by the best that you can on your own without relying on any form of an outside source. And that is the main goal, because we don't want to be out in the chaos when all of this is going on. We want to be able to stay at home and be safe. And just like protection is a big thing. However you want to do it, but you need to protect yourself and you need to protect your place. So that is very high on the list also of things that you need to be looking into. Do not wait. Do not wait till stuff starts happening and then try to go do this like a lot of people did. When all this started, they waited till it started and the shortages started happening, and then they went and tried to get stuff and it wasn't there. And it made it harder to do. And then you would have to wait till it come in, and then you would have to fight over it whether or not you or someone else would get it first. Don't wait. We're still not to the point that you can't get anything. You can still get stuff even if you have to wait a little longer on it, but get the process started. Don't wait. We definitely don't want to be caught in the same situation we've already been in 2 years ago. We want to be ahead of that, because this time may be a whole lot worse than what we've already seen. So that is our job as preppers for our families, is to be ahead of that, not to be dealing with it when it actually happens, to be prepared ahead of time. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, God bless you, and keep prepping.